Well, good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. And we are starting a new month, so we're going to be starting a new theme. And um, I really wasn't sure what theme I wanted to do. So I started thinking about it, and I thought, well, maybe what we'll do for this month is do things that come to mind when we think about October. So basically, the October happenings. So when I started thinking about that, I thought, well, when I think about October, one of the things that comes to mind that happens is people start visiting the pumpkin patches. So, with that in mind, I was inspired to create the card that we're going to do today. And um, I'm going to do something different. I'm using the October 2021 sketch design by Me Crafty Owl. Some of you may have seen her videos and how she has different sketches each month. And so I decided I was going to use the sketch that she's created for October and design my card around that. And so we are also going to be focusing on this paper pumpkins bundle because if I'm thinking about a pumpkin patch, then I wanted to do something around pumpkins, right? So this is the set that we're going to be focusing on. And again, like always, on my Mondays where we do the MoJOY Mondays, I put all the all the dimensions and all that in the description. So um, let's go ahead and get started with today's MoJOY Monday card. So we are going to start off with um, basic white. Today we're going to have our card base be basic white. So we're going to go ahead and get that ready. And then I wanted to use the two designer series papers that we're going to use are these two designs. And they're from different paper packs. So this one on the left is from the Expressions. Um, Let me get the right wording here. The Expressions in Ink 12 by 12 designer series paper. And this one is the Beauty of the Earth designer series paper. So I really liked the look of this and how it went well with this paper. So that's why we're using two different designer series packs today. So with that in mind, I wanted my next level of this card to be something that complemented. So I went with cinnamon cider. And I really wanted to add some texture. So I was debating whether I wanted to use an embossing folder, or what I wanted to use, but I decided to go with the Stitch Greenery die, which is one of my favorite for adding texture to the backs of the cards. So we're gonna go ahead and so what I did, and I'm not gonna do that here on the video, but what I went ahead and did is ran this piece of the cinnamon cider in my die cut machine with the Stitched Greenery die, and I just love it because then you get this little stitch pattern in it, and I just love that. So we're going to go ahead and use that. I'm going to set the card base aside until I'm ready to adhere it. And so with the sketch that I am using, um, what what she went ahead and did was she took the two, and then we're going to do some paper tearing. So depending on how much of this color you want to see is going to be how much you want to tear. Now, I know that's going to be hard to try to determine, so you can just tear randomly. Now, if you tear with the design facing you, you're going to have this white edge, and I like that. If you don't want that, then you're going to want to tear from the other side, but you're going to then have to do it upside down. So, but I like that white look, so I'm going to go ahead and start tearing randomly here and see what we come up with for this card. So that's what's cool about this card is no two cards are ever going to look the same because you're never going to be able to tear precisely. But I'm going to hold on to this because we're going to use this piece in a little bit. So now decide on this piece which way you want it to be. I think, a lot of this up here. So I want to now tear from this side, but I can't tear very well with my left hand. So I'm going to turn it this way, upside down, and do my tearing. And then I will bring it back around and again save this piece. And then when you turn it back around, then you'll have your two torn pieces. So now we're going to go ahead and adhere these, and I'm going to go ahead and use the liquid glue just because I want to be able to have some wiggle room to move it around. So I'm just going to go ahead and add some liquid glue to the back of this one, and we're going to go ahead and adhere this to this side, and making sure you leave a nice border, even border around the three sides. Then we're going to go ahead and do the same with this other piece. Put some glue. And then also leaving a nice border, put this down. There we go. And see now we have this kind of jagged look going down the middle. Okay, so I think our next step we should probably do is I took a piece of the Cajun craze, and we're going to be using this like a kind of a faux ribbon. And on the sample that I created, I kind of just guessed and did my folding. But on this one, I decided to score it in at 3.5 inches on both sides so that my folds would be cleaner without cracking the cardstock. Now, if you don't want to score it, what you could do is just take your bone folder and let's see, and you can kind of like run it like this on your thing so that and this will kind of break the fibers down on your cardstock, and then that way when you go to fold it, you won't see all that. If you don't want to score it, you won't see all that you know, kind of breakage in the cardstock when you're trying to fold it. So anyway, either way will work. So what I'm going to do is the best thing to do is use tear and tape, but I want to try to get rid of some of this old one that I have here. So this was what we had a long time ago. And so you can't tear this one, you've got to cut it. But this is um if you have the tear and tape, that would probably be better because then you could just tear it. So now what I'm going to do is kind of figure out where I want to have my it's going to kind of be not quite in the middle. I guess it really doesn't matter, but I'm going to go ahead and kind of just lay this here on my card, and then I'm going to pull this off. The other thing about this is it's kind of hard to get that tape off of there. There we go. So now we're going to kind of find the middle of this, and we're going to go ahead and kind of just push it down there right over that tearing tape or the sticky, whatever you have there. And then now we're going to kind of make this fold. So we're going to fold this over to one side and see if it's hanging off like that. See, that's why maybe it's better to not score it. And it's probably better to just, you know, let's see if I can lift this up because I really, well, we're going to leave it like that because it's going to be on top of another card. So it's going to be fine. So now we're going to go ahead and fold this one down the other direction. And this kind of gives you that little zigzag ribbon look. And I kind of like that. I like the idea that she had for the card this month. So that's why we're doing this one. So there we have that. Now we're going to work on what our image is going to be. But I think what we're going to do first is let's go ahead and get our sentiment ready. Yeah, we're just going to get it ready. We're not going to adhere it just yet. So what I did was I took the pumpkin pie and I went ahead and inked up the sentiment that I'm using. And I'm using the "If friends were pumpkins, I'd pick you." And I went ahead and inked this all up in the pumpkin pie ink. And then I kind of wanted, see the words where it says friends and you, I kind of wanted it to have a different look than just straight pumpkin pie. So when I turn this over, I'm taking a Cajun Craze, the Stampin' Up marker, and just on those kind of scripty words, I'm going to just kind of add some color, but not all over the whole thing, because I kind of want it like a little rainbow, like between the two colors. So I'm just going to add just a little bit of that. And then I'm going to take my piece of basic white, and then we're going to go ahead, and if you feel like you need to ink it up a little more because you took some time, you can always huff on it. And then what you would basically do is just, take it down and stamp it on your piece. But, so I don't want to get my head in the way. I'm going to go ahead and show you that I've already done that. So I don't know if you can see, but if you look at see how the friends and you has a little bit of the pumpkin pie and the Cajun Craze, and it kind of gives it that little rainbow effect. So that was the look I wanted, so that's how I came up with that. So now I'm going to take a piece of scrap pumpkin pie, and we're going to go ahead and stamp the pumpkin that has all these beautiful leaves in it. And I wanted to do a tone on tone because I didn't really want a lot of, I didn't want a lot of color on this. So just going to go ahead and ink that up and stamp it on our scrap piece of pumpkin pie. Make sure that's nice on there. And then you're going to take the die that comes in this bundle and you're going to line it up and you're going to run it through your die cut machine. But I didn't want to take the time to do that here. And this ink pad, for some reason, has been really giving me grief. So, not to take time to do that, I've already have one die cut out. Okay. So then I wanted some vellum, and because in her sketch she had some vellum, and it was like 2 3/4. So out of the what's it called? The layering circles framelits. I found a circle that was about that size, and I took a piece of vellum and I went ahead and ran it to the die cut machine and die cut that out. So here's our vellum already cut out. That's going to be hard to see on here because it's gonna blend right in. But this is a piece of vellum. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and put some Stampin' Dimensionals on the back of the pumpkin because I wanted that popped up. And let's go ahead and get some dimensionals on the back of here. And I like to make sure I have plenty so that it doesn't get smushed if I'm going to put this in the mail. I'm taking the backings off of my dimensionals. And now we're going to center that in the middle of our vellum here. And then the nice thing about that is now when we go to adhere this, we can use the glue all in this area here so that you won't see it through the vellum. So I'm going to go ahead and take my liquid glue next, and I'm just going to put the glue just in the areas where you see the pumpkin so that you don't, you won't see that when you adhere it to the card. So I think what we'll do before we attach that, though, is I probably should adhere this to the card base. So it'll be easy to add the adhesive when nothing's popped up on it. So I'm just going to really quick add some adhesive to the back of this card so we can adhere it to the card base. Okay, let's get this adhered down with the nice border around. And I think that looks pretty good. Get that down. Now we can go ahead and take our pumpkin here and we're going to put that right kind of, in the center of that ribbon or our faux ribbon that we've got here. And you can move that ribbon around. There we go. So that should stick down nicely. So now I'm going to take our sentiment and I'm going to go ahead and just place it toward the bottom here. Again, I'm going to use the liquid glue so that I can have some wiggle room. And decide where I want it. Want a nice amount of showing on either side. There we go. So now we have that nice little sentiment there. If friends were pumpkins, I'd pick you. Okay, now I went ahead and took a piece of this same designer series paper that I use on the left side. And in this bundle, there's a really nice leaf. So I went ahead and die cut that leaf out. And I love it because I just love the texture of that paper. So now we're going to go ahead and use some glue dots. And I'm going to go ahead and kind of attach this kind of off to the side here. I don't want it really on this side because I don't want it laid over there. So I'm going to kind of attach it like that. So I'm going to put a glue dot on this side and then on the back side of this because it's going to go in. And I guess you could put the glue dot on the back side. It doesn't really matter on both sides, but I just was going to attach it to the pumpkin and not the vellum. So that's why I decided to do it that way. So let me get my glue dots here and put one on this side and then one on the back of this. Then we go ahead and, oh no, look what happened. I pulled it off so hard it tore. So we're going to have to figure out a way to use that because I don't want to go and cut another piece. So let's see how that tore off there. So be very careful when you do this. So we're going to go ahead and You don't want to do what I did. Let's see if I can fix this. Maybe what I should do is try to decide where I would put. Oh, that just makes me sad. So if I would have originally done it like this, I'll just go ahead and see if I can get this to work where it doesn't look too bad. I don't know. I don't know if I like that. I may have to go die cut another one. But we're going to still give it a good try to fix it. I think I got it. Look. Matter of just getting it lined up there a little. Not as angled as I would like, but it's not bad. I might have to go back in and add another glue dot there to make sure it sticks. But I think we got that. Doesn't look too bad. And you might want to, I noticed that this is kind of popping up, so I think I might also go put a glue dot here to make sure that this faux ribbon stays down. So let me get a glue dot here and see if I can take a piece off here and put it on the back here. That way I can push that down. That'll help keep that faux ribbon from popping up. So, let's see. I think that's okay. That'll work. So now, let's see. What do we have left? We've got that on there. So now we're going to go ahead and, of course, we need some embellishment. So I'm using the Champagne Rhinestone Basic Jewels. And I'm going to put a large one, the largest one in this set. I'm going to put it right where that leaf and that stem of the pumpkin meet. And I'm going to put it right there. And then I'm going to take the medium size one and I'm going to put one up here somewhere. And then I'm going to take a small one and put it right at the end of this U wording. So there we go. We have that done. So now let's go ahead and work on the inside of the card. So I just took another piece of white because even though the inside is white, I still like another layer. There's just something about leaving that blank inside that, I don't know, for me, I don't like it. So I like to always add another piece, but I always like to decorate it as well. So I'm going to go ahead and take the two pieces that we tore off, and we're going to use these pieces for the inside. And so basically what I'm going to do is just kind of adhere these together like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put just a little strip of liquid glue on. Let me get my silicone mat so I don't get glue everywhere. I'm going to put it just on the edge of this one. And just enough to hold that other piece down. And then I'm going to take this one and lay it right over there. And the good thing about the liquid glue is, see, then you have some wiggle room to get it pulled away or lined up or however you want it, whatever look you want there. So pull that up a little bit and push that down. So now we don't have to throw this away. We can use it on the inside of the card. So let's go ahead and put some more adhesive to the back. And I'm going to go ahead and put it on this left side. Also leaving a nice little border. There we go. Then I'm going to adhere this to the inside of the card with my stamp and seal here. And then I think this card will be done. And I'll show you the other one I made as my little prototype. Okay, so get this. Oops. A little harder to see the borders when it's white on white, but we'll get it. There we go. So there's the inside of that card. And there's the outside. And then let me show you the one I created the first go around. So you can see that on this one, I had a little different angle of my tearing. And I think the thing that I like more about this one is the ribbon is more centered. So you'd have to play a little bit more with that before you glued it down. So something to learn there, but it's still cute. And then the inside of this card like that, and the inside of this one's like that. So there you go. There is our new October theme, MoJOY Monday, and hope you like it, and hope you will consider using this sketch as one of your card designs. So we will see you all again next Monday, and hope you have a great week. Bye-bye.